got a light.
Yeah.
I'll help you, man. What do you need?
You guys don't have past the car, do you?
Yeah, I don't have to.
No.
Okay. I'm just gonna make sure my.
Yeah, but mine
Hey.
probably would.
What are we doing?
Unless you want to.
Is that also your crew?
Yes, because we didn't know if this is going to happen at 10:30 or 10:40, and so Joseph was going to have to leave, and we were going to switch out.
So you
But-
might as well you should just do it, and you guys not, right?
Well, I have to stay. I switch out with him. So, but if everybody else is ready to go, it might be. I have to move my stuff out of the car and everything. Like, hey, Miles. So. He's with us. He was going to be a relief crew in case this was going to go off real late.
Just wanted to make sure.
So we're still trying to figure out, like, yeah. Joseph, so is Miles going to shoot this and you're leaving?
We're here.
Okay.
We're gonna even put a
So
nice light on.
Miles can just shoot cuts or something? I mean, you're here, right?
I'll get
3 and 4, 5. Just out of
And
curiosity.
WTOP?
WTOP. All right.
Because I don't think this is going. It's not going to go on too long.
Yeah, this is like a 2 minutes.
quality product here.
Yeah, that's good.
Didn't feel hot this morning, but now it does.
I know.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, this is a good breeze.
And now they're wondering, why weren't you all set up beforehand?
Look into the light.
Okay. Miles, he's coming from this side if you want to just pick up that walk. Okay. Is everybody else ready to go when he gets here?
We're fine. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm good. Just we gotta just vacuum and that's it.
Right.
Yeah, I'm gonna be here. Do you want to check
Yeah,
this out one more time?
He's probably like got an inch or two on me, so.
Yeah.
Any email? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's good.
Okay.
That's what I put my money on. Otherwise, why?
Morning, sir.
So, Chad, you want to help us with this? You want us to do it?
We're gonna put a light on
To-
here. Is that
to-
okay?
Can you go around, just around my back here? You guys want to keep them all?
Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that.
Sir, if you don't mind, if we just put it midway, sir.
Right there.
Okay, I can help you with that if that's okay.
Yeah, if you
just
can.
to make it a little easier for you. Yes, sir.
Yeah, we would keep all of them down there.
Of course. I'm a
And you can
little jacked
put it
up
in
here.
your
We
pocket
won't
if
see
you want.
these then.
Thank you, sir.
You can drop it in any pocket you want.
Let me do this. I don't.
We won't see it. We'll shoot it kind of tight high up. Yes, we will. But thank you.
I'll do that just in case, because you never know.
Gotcha.
Okay, so
Thank you.
There you go.
Before we get started, do you want names of everybody?
we can do that after. I can introduce.
Okay, let's get them recorded.
Lieutenant Sheriff Captain Holman.
Sheriff, I think their shot, guys, is this where you wanted the sheriff, if that's
Yeah,
okay?
that's good.
Yes.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Sheriff,
Okay.
if you don't mind.
Okay.
I don't.
Thank you, Neil.
Yeah,
Thank you.
perfect.
I'm not going to introduce every single person, though. I'll introduce.
Yeah.
Okay.
Could you slide in a little more, sir? Because we're a half circle, maybe? Maybe do a half circle a little bit more? Is this okay? Yes, sir. Thank you.
Whenever you're ready, Sheriff.
Okay, I'm Sheriff Mike Chapman, Loudoun County here. I'm here with Assistant Commonwealth Attorney Nicole Whitman and another Assistant Commonwealth Attorney, Jonathan Dickey, and my command staff here to kind of give you what we have so far on the homicide that happened this morning. At about 4:30, we received a call, dispatch call for an argument that was taking place in the 21,000 block of Huntington Square. As we were arriving to the disturbance call, shots had been fired, and we found when we arrived that there were 2 victims of gunshot wounds. So what had happened was the people that were disorderly or making a commotion on Huntington Square had walked around to the back parking lot of this building here. At that point, shots were fired. We have 2 deceased, a young Hispanic female and a young Hispanic male, early 20s. We're still waiting to notify all the next of kin to make sure that they're aware of this. So we don't really have any, we can't release any information as to who they were. And we do have, we are looking for suspects, and right now it appears to be a targeted incident, but we don't have an identity on the individual that committed the homicide. So what we're doing is right now is we're asking for the public's help. If you were a witness to this, have any idea who this might have been, the call, I said it came out at 4:30. We arrived by 4:33, and in the time that transpired between then is when the gunshots took place, and we had 2 victims deceased when we arrived. They were transported to the hospital where we were declared deceased, but actually 2 homicide victims at this point.
Do you have any sense, Sheriff, can you describe how large a group was, where there was the commotion? Was it one person yelling, or was it a group?
So, I mean, it's still under investigation. We're still looking at all the circumstances. Apparently there was some disturbance that was going on in the parking lot. I can't tell you whether it was one person or more than that. It appears that there were several individuals that were on the other side of this fence here, near the community, and ultimately that's where the victims had walked to, and then consequently were shot and killed. So that's
just to be clear, Sheriff, so I see there's evidence markers down there, which is on this side of the fence, but the community seems to be on the other side of the fence. Can you help clarify?
That's right.
Where the victims
so you've got the apartment complex on the other side of the fence here. You've got an area beyond the fence that you can walk around from the parking lot, and that's apparently where they had walked around to get to where they were here in the back parking lot here, and that's where the incident took place.
So the incident took place there, but then the 2 victims walked back.
So yeah, so there was a disturbance that was taking place, at the residential area. The female and male walked around from there to this particular area, and that's where they encountered other individuals, and that's where the shooting took place.
And then, just for clarity, is it they died on scene and were transported to the hospital, or transported?
They were transported to the hospital. They were actually declared at the hospital. So no, they did not die on the scene. They were transported to the hospital where they were pronounced.
And sorry, just to put one finer point on it. So the argument happened in the community. They came around the fence into this parking lot, and that's where the shooting took place.
That's right. That's correct. Yes. Yeah.
Sheriff, any other calls for service in this apartment area or in this cut through?
For that particular period of time?
Not this in particular, but has this been a problem area?
I don't know if I can answer that. As a problem area,
this is not anything out of the normal. It's
okay.
A usual place for us.
I'm sorry, not
So
anything.
it's a pretty normal place for us. It's not a high crime area, and we haven't seen any kind of recent spree of crimes that have been occurring here in this community.
Okay. And also, just how unusual is it to have a double homicide in Loudoun County?
It's very unusual. I mean, we've had a couple homicides already this year, which is very unusual for us. We average usually 1 or 2 maybe a year, and now we've had more than that. So it is concerning for sure.
Any indication that drugs may have been involved?
It's too early to tell. Certainly there was something that prompted that argument, that discussion, and then whatever happened in the aftermath, I can't really say whether it was drug related or related to something else. We're still under investigation.
And I noticed there's in the community, obviously there's a lot of parents, small children. What would be your message to them with potential shooters still on the loose?
Well, that's my concern. It appears from everything that we see so far that it's a targeted shooting, but it does concern me that we have that person that committed this crime is still on the loose. So that's why we need to have the public help us with trying to determine who this person actually is, and then that way we can kind of go after him and make sure we get that person locked up and behind bars.
What about a lookout for there was a report of a lighter or gray colored sedan leaving the area. Is any solid leads on that?
No, we're still looking at, there were some cars that are involved in the scenario, but we're still trying to figure out exactly what their role was, so we don't want to put anything out just yet until we know a little bit more.
I would assume that these buildings have cameras, so I would assume that you're reviewing those to see whether that might be of any help in
of course, and there was the call that we received was from somebody from the apartment complex behind us that alerted us to the argument, and then as we responded, that's in the time it took us to get the call and respond, that's when the shooting occurred.
Oh, okay. So
And at this time, we're looking for one suspect, like one.
We don't know yet. I mean, it appears that there were several people that were on this side of the fence. Don't know who was involved, who did the shooting, but it appears to be targeted in the sense that it appears that the victims and the suspects were familiar with each other. Okay.
Right.
Okay.
I'm good. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Does anyone know off the top of their head the number of the homicides
Thank you.
for the year?
Yeah, so we've had 4 incidents with 5. Thank you. Because this one